welcome all of you and thank you very much. Last time we had seen that Yudhishthir had moved into his palace, which was built by the architect Maya of the Asuras. And this architect Maya had built such a magical kind of a palace in which he had brought all kinds of things from faraway land, corals, then gems and crystals, all these things. And with that, he had created this palace. So, so that you could not really make out what it was. And especially Duryodhan, when he went there, Duryodhan had been invited to that palace because they were going to perform a yagya. So before that, Duryodhan went around the palace trying to see, more out of jealousy than out of anything else. He wanted a palace of a similar type. So he went on taking notes, etc. But he was also foxed at many places. At one place, he thought this is water and he didn't step into it. But when when he did, it turned out to be a crystal. At another place, he thought it is a crystal. When he stepped into it, he fell in. It turned out to be water and a little pond there. He was all wet. And then while he was still distraught, still he was disoriented, embarrassed, he heard somebody laughing and he heard somebody saying in a female voice, "Isn't he the son of the blind king?" Now, this he thought that perhaps, of course, that laughter he attributed to Bhim, which I suppose he could make out it was Bhim, but he attributed that female voice to Draupadi, which it was not true. It was only the maid who had raised that question. But anyway, he was very, very angry with these two people. And he was seething, but he kept quiet. He didn't let his anger be known. Thereafter, when the time came, not time came, thereafter, when everything was over, Duryodhan had gone down, it was time for the yagya to start. Then Yudhishthir, as he had called people, he commenced his that Rajsuya made yag. And in this, it was a greatly attended affair. Many rishis were invited there. And Krishna took upon himself, Lord Krishna, to welcome the rishis and all the guests, and also to remove the plates, or rather the banana leaves on which the food was served. In our tradition, food was not served in any kind of a fixed plate. It used to be on banana leaves, which used to be very clean. So he took upon himself the task of removing these banana leaves. Now, the yagya which he was performing was called a Rajsuya yagya. Raj means your kingdom, and Su is from good, and Ya is from Yash, means your fame. So, what was this sacrifice about? This was sacrifice where you are going to sacrifice your Raj and your fame, which means virtually all the money that you had as a king and all the power that you drew as a king. These two he was going to sacrifice. What is the meaning of sacrifice? Sacrifice does not mean you put in the flame everything. Although when we carry on to sacrifice as symbolically, then we have a pit or a vessel, a square vessel, open vessel, in which we put all these samagri, what they call, the sticks in which will burn. Then some of the other things like sawdust, and few other things which is going to we are going to place into this fire. And along with this, these are supposed to be the oblations which we are going to place in the fire, and that is the sacrifice. Now, of course, this is only symbolic. The real meaning is that our body, we are that itself is the vessel. Plus, the fire is the tapas, or the energy of our yearning that we comes out of into our sadhana, that we put into sadhana. That energy, that yearning that is there, that intensity, that is the fire. And the oblations which we were going to put into the fire as sacrifice, maybe anything. It can be money, which is the cheapest, which is the easiest of thing, or it can be your desires, it can be your fame, it can be whatever. All these things, one by one, options are there. You can put into, you can put all your energies into the fire. You can put upon, uh, yeah, desires primarily. Now, what does it mean that you're going to sacrifice all these things? Sacrifice does not mean you're going to set them afire, set them alight. No, it's you're going to offer this to God, and assuming, since God, of course, or better still, you offer all these things to all the people around you, especially the deserving, assuming that they are God, and all these things which you normally cater for yourself. So that was the sacrifice which they are going to perform there. Now, it is not that you are going to burn away all these things, but the desires which are there, which you normally cater for yourself, you start catering for the people. As a king, it is his responsibility. So he is going to cater to the king, to the people. That is about the best thing that can happen. You know, there was until in ancient India, till Shantanu, the tradition was the most enlightened person would be the king. So naturally, if he's enlightened, he doesn't want money for himself because he knows that all this money and wealth, material wealth which is there, he's going to leave around, leave it alone here, and he'll proceed to the next course of his journey, where all these things he cannot carry. While while he's alive, these people they distribute money to the most deserving. This thing would have continued, but for Bhishma, as you know, and Bhishma was the one who, really speaking, with taking his vows, etc., he broke this chain. And from the, in fact, that is why, when sometimes the question is asked, how did that Mahabharata result, and who was the main cause of this? A lot of people say that no, it is Draupadi. Others say it is Dhritarashtra. So many answers are given, but the real person responsible for the Mahabharata is actually Bhishma, Devrat. When you get disconnected from God, Devrat means when you get disconnected from God, when you deny God, then you are going to take all kind of foolish decisions. And sometimes that foolish decision can be really, uh, cause havoc to the people or to yourself also. Anyway, in this case, Yudhishthir having acquired, converted Khandaprasth into Indraprasth, which rivaled which rivaled the kingdom of Lord Indra. What else he has to do? What else has he to accomplish? So that was the time when this yagya, he decided to have this yagya, in which he is going to sacrifice all his power and wealth. Now, this power and wealth, as I mentioned, that is going to be sacrificed for the people. It's not going to be, he's not going to take it away for himself. At other times, as we'll continue, we'll see that later on. He's going to, after the war is over, he's going to carry out another yagya, which is called Ashwamedh yagya. And in it is called a horse sacrifice. Ashwa is horse. Horse stands for desires. Until all your desires are really quelled or eliminated, you cannot proceed. You cannot really rise up in the spiritual field. So that is about the last, when you are completely killed of when you have sacrificed all your desires, when all your desires are removed, that is, then all the attachment would have gone. That is that moksha that you get. Moksha, as I mentioned earlier, also stands for then it was time to give some presents after the dinner was that lunch or dinner which was lunch which was hosted, that had been over. Then the plates had been removed, everything was over. Then toward the end, this kind of a gift, parting gift, which you give to people. So uh, Bhishma, who was aware of Krishna being an avatar of Lord Vishnu himself, or being Lord Vishnu himself, he said that first we must honor Krishna. And he called Yudhishthira and told him that please start your gift when you start giving. Make sure that you start with Lord Krishna. Then, when Yudhishthira did that, Shishupal, who was another cousin of Lord Krishna, Krishna's cousin, he became very upset and angry. He said, Krishna is not a more powerful king. I am a more powerful king, and uh, I should be honored first. Anyway, I should be honored first. But the protocol demanded that the person to be honored first, one is the greatest in all respects. And the Lord, nobody could be greater than the Lord. So that is why Bhishma had advised Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira complied with it. When, however, this was done, Shishupal, who was there, he became very upset. Now, Shishupal was another king of King of Kandaka, and he had 4 arms and he had 3 eyes. And when the astrologers came for preparing his what was the horoscope or the Janapatri, as was the tradition in our place, even today, these days also, then the astrologers told his mother, Krishna's aunt, that look, this fellow is a no good fellow, he's a monster, and it's better he be terminated now itself.
You're losing you.
I don't know why. Maybe
Papa, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Tanay, I can hear him loud and clear.
Okay. Sometimes others, if
Papa,
some
your
can hear,
wife.
I can hear him.
So can I. Tanay,
Yeah,
Tanay,
Tanay, it's just yours.
Tanay, your internet
I think your
connection.
internet might be unstable.
Yeah, I can also hear him. I
Yeah.
can hear.
okay, then I'll
Yeah.
continue. Then, where was I? 4 arms. He had 4 arms and 3 eyes. These are the traits of monster, and the astrologer said it is better to destroy this such a monster here rather than allow him to live, because afterwards he's going to create a lot of havoc there. But his mother, Krishna's aunt, would not agree, and he said that she said, "No, he's my child. I've born him for 9 months. He has to be all his appendage which appears monstrous. They may be removed." So he's wondering. She kept on wondering who's going to remove it. Eventually, she requested the assistance of Lord Krishna. Krishna obliged. He said, first of all, he tried to dissuade his mother. Later on, when she kept on insisting, he said, all right, I'll remove the appendages. But there's one condition. If he keeps on committing, I'll forgive him 100 times for all the crimes that he keeps on committing 100 times. But if it is one more than 100, I'll destroy him. So the mother said, okay, whatever you do is acceptable to me as long as you remove these appendages. Extra arms which were there. Now, Shishupal, if you see, 3 eyes is provided to Lord Shiva generally. So it is not that they are monstrous. He may look monstrous, but third eye is provided to the Lord himself, Shiva. He has got the third eye. Also, 4 arms. Many of our gods and goddesses have 4 arms. So, on the one hand, these appendages which are there, they may proclaim that uh, he's a very high, a soul which is very high upon the ladder, or you must say even as a god, he is a god. On the other hand, as a monster, what do you do with these 3 eyes and 4 arms? Generally, these are 3 eyes and arms are the tools by which a lustful and a glutton uses them. So that is how that's why he was called a monster. But when her mother did not agree, so the appendage was removed by Krishna, and then he was allowed to continue his life there. Now, the Shishupal as he grew up, he became very, very a womanizer. And in fact, he ravished his own cousin. And he once went to the ashram of a rishi and kidnapped his wife there. Then it is said that when Krishna was not there in Dwarka, he attacked Dwarka, created a lot of atrocities there, especially on women. And he had all kinds of nefarious activities he indulged in. By the time this yagya was held, he was also there as one of the people who was invited there. But he became very angry there. And by this time, about almost 100 of his, nearly 100 he had, atrocities he had committed. And as per the promise given to his mother, Krishna kept on waiting for 100 sins to be committed by him. So when he started destroying that, the yagya, the vessel where he was there, in which the yagya was carried out, plus he started abusing Krishna, and he started abusing everybody else. Krishna kept on counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. And when this was happening, his form kept on changing, and everybody could see that he is turning into a monster. And in fact, Bhishma and Vidur, they pointed out to him, but he was, really unconcerned. He could not make himself. He could not appreciate that he was turning into a monster. And so when the 101st, when he abused, finally, that which turned out to be the 101 time, then Krishna took his Sudarshan Chakra and hurled it at him, and immediately his head was severed. And people saw that brilliant blue light which emerged from his heart, entering into Lord Krishna. And of course, he was dead. So Shishupal was destroyed by Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan, what is Sudarshan? Su means good and Darshan means a view. Sudarshan, a good view is the view of the truth. That is the best darshan you can have, view of the truth. So the Lord does not destroy anybody. He transforms everybody. Chakra means stands for a wheel. That wheel stands for confusion also, but it also stands for you know uh, not only it stands for confusion, but it also stands for transformation. So in this case, he was transformed from a wicked fellow to a good fellow, because the Lord is not interested in killing anybody. The Lord is only interested in making sure that you're transformed. And because to the Lord, everybody is the same. They may have got into bad ways. So the ways are bad, but the person is not bad. So his whole idea, the Lord's idea, even Baba used to say, I've not come to kill, destroy anybody. I've come to transform everybody. If everybody is good, everybody belongs to me. So if everybody belongs to me, how can they be wicked or bad? Anyway, Shishupal had been transformed, and so much so that his spark, that blue, pale, not pale blue light, the bright blue light which emerged from him, that was his soul, which soul was absorbed by the Lord himself. Okay. The next one is Arjun sets out on a peace mission. Now, by this time, what happened was Krishna was called back to Dwarka because some of the adjoining kings had declared war on Dwarka. So Krishna rushed immediately to Dwarka. But before going there, he advised Yudhishthira and told him that, look, the power of Indraprastha has grown considerably. All the surrounding kings, adjoining kings, they are very envious, and they are very jealous also, and they are very scared also. And therefore, you have to be, in order to ensure that there is no war, you better send peace missions send somebody, Arjun, on a peace mission and get them to sign peace treaties, and so that they don't become, they don't become a little scared or frightened, and they don't attack you. So when Arjun decided to go to two places, one was Nagalok and the other was Manalur. Nagalok it was an underground kingdom of the Nagas. The Nagas, as you know, also lived in Khandapras. So the Nagas were very suspicious when Arjun visited their kingdom, underwater kingdom, and immediately Arjun was arrested. But Arjun told them that, look, he has come only as a missionary on a peaceful mission. He has not come on any offensive design. He'd like to meet the king. He met the king of the Nagas, and then the king of the Nagas would appreciated that the Indraprastha had become very powerful. And when Arjun said that, look, we have come to have a peace treaty with you, we would not like to fight with each other. Immediately, that king of the Nagas, he saw that it would be to his advantage, because if such a powerful kingdom, if you have to be on peace with him, peace with this smaller kingdom, it's always an advantage for the smaller kingdom. So immediately he agreed, and to make sure that the make doubly sure that Indraprastha does not attack their kingdom Nagalok. What he did was he offered his daughter. His daughter's name was Ulupi. He offered his daughter Ulupi to Krishna and told him and said that I'd like to my daughter to get married to you as a token of our peace treaty also. So finally, Arjun got married to Ulupi, and he lived there for a few months before he proceeded on the next leg of his journey to Manalur. Ulupi is from Lupt. Lupt means vanishing, and Nag stands for energies. So vanishing energy is the psychic energy. When Arjun is any one of us, because this is all happening within us. When you acquire, when you have control over or of the energies, then the psychic energy is the one you are controlling. Getting married to Lupi means that you're getting married, that you're controlling the psychic energy, your own psychic energy. That is what this metaphor is. From here, from Nagalok, the Arjun went over to Manalur. Manar stands for mind, and Lu stands for to cut off the mind, cut off the mind, to destroy the mind, to eliminate the mind. These are two important things which a spiritual aspirant has to obtain. One is control your psychic energy, which remains coiled at the base of our spine, at the first chakra, and from there it moves up. The second chakra is the sex chakra. Third is the navel chakra. The fourth is the heart chakra. The fifth is the throat chakra. The sixth is the forehead or this eyebrow chakra, and the seventh is the chakra at the crown of the head. So when the psychic energy which is there, if you are able to divert it right to the seventh chakra, then that is you become enlightened and you realize then you can see the truth. So this chakra is lying there at the base of our spine, and this is the energy that you get that you have control over. Now you can play with it and send it to whichever place you want. That was the meaning of that getting married to Ulupi. At Manalur is also the mind, cut off the mind, to destroy the mind. So getting control of all your energies is one thing, your psychic energy especially. And the second was elimination of the mind. So every spiritual aspirant, must strive for these two things. Now, with these further, with these three treaties, the power of and after a few months, this at Manalur, the king of Manalur, he also saw wisdom and in signing a peace treaty with Indraprasth, with Arjuna as his representative, and like at Nagalok, he also offered his daughter Chitrangada to Arjun for marriage. So Arjun remained there another for 4 or 5 months. Afterward, he came back to Indraprasth. Now, meanwhile, the Duryodhan was still very angry, and when at the death of Shishupal, all the energies all the anger which was seething within him, which was quiet, he didn't allow it to take the better of him. Suddenly, it erupted, and he swore that he was going to take revenge against these two people. One was Bhim, and the other one was Draupadi. Now, all the demonic tendencies which we have, they are something like our self-destruct mechanism, which is built into these days in missiles and drones, etc. So if something goes wrong, they are immediately able to destroy itself. It doesn't have to wait for any command. Now, but in case of demonic traits, in case of Duryodhana, you keep on destroying yourself, not only because when there's something wrong with you, but even otherwise. Your whole idea is to destruction of yourself. Now, remember, all these traits are within us. So when he's destroying ourselves, for that the first requirement is to eliminate your uh, your yearning, perseverance, yearning for God. When that is destroyed, then you can take care of the body. You can destroy the body also. That is how all the demonic traits eventually function. They destroy not only they destroy whatever else outside themselves, but they eventually destroy themselves too. Okay. Then yeah. Meanwhile, as the power of the Indraprasth kept on increasing, the Duryodhan was still very angry. He was wondering how to uh, destroy the Pandavas and take revenge. Until his brother Dushasan suggested that if we can get our sister Dushala to get married to Jayadratha, then it will be very helpful, because Jayadratha is an extremely powerful king, and once he is on our side, the balance of power will shift in our favor, and we will be able to defeat Yudhishthir. Immediately, Duryodhan, sorry, Duryodhan saw the advantage of this plan, and he said, yes, let us send a proposal to Jayadratha. When Dushala, his sister, heard what was being done, that she was being proposed for Jayadratha, sorry, Jayadratha, she was very unhappy, because Jayadratha was known to be a womanizer. But of course, when Duryodhan was told she is a womanizer, would you like to still your sister to be married to him? He said, look, this very powerful king will have a little bit of their own whims, and you can't stop it. You forget about it. When Dushala said that she doesn't want to get married to Jayadratha, Duryodhan curtly told her that ladies of the royal, from the royal family, have no choice, especially in case of dire times. And this is one such time. And we need the assistance of Jayadratha to be on our side, because we may have to go for a war. So we don't give you a choice, and you jolly well get married to Jayadratha. So Jayadratha was married to Dushala. Now with this, certainly the strength of the Hastinapur increased, because Jayadratha was a king, a very powerful king. Now, Jayadratha is also, they're all metaphors here. Jayadratha, Jay means victory, and Dhrut means fleet-footed. Now, and this Dhrut or fleet-footedness is stands for, or rather is used for deer. Deer, which stands again for sexual desire. So Jayadratri stands for one uh, who's very lustful. Anyway, and in the kingdom, and now he becomes the brother-in-law of Duryodhana. Duryodhana, as you know, is wealth. Monetary is material wealth. So material wealth and lust, they are two great, very related to each other. And they are, one is the son, and the other the son-in-law now of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is attachment. So attachment has got a son and a son-in-law, which is which is material wealth and lust. This is how this is the relationship between two of them.